welcome to Hotline. Tonight we have a sound-alike contest for you. If you're good at impressions, then we could well be looking for you. We also have a plea to anyone who has got a redundant musical instrument. And if you're a horsey person, you could be a great help to us tonight. And were you a prisoner in Germany during the last war? Camp 428 will be featuring tonight.
So, if you think that we might be looking for you tonight, get ready to ring us. The main number once again tonight is 018112211, and we'll be giving you other numbers for each story as we go along to help you to get through to us. Now, this week we're in the BBC's Manchester studios in Oxford Road, Manchester. And, of course, if you live near enough, you can actually join us in person here in the studio. You've got until 8 o'clock.
Also tonight, we have a live link to the town hall in Rochdale, where De-Val is going to attempt to live up to that boast that he made last week. He said that nothing could hold him.
There, that thinks they could hold me prisoner, I want them to challenge us. There's nothing on earth can hold me.
100%.
I've never been beaten.
Well, we'll see about that. Also from last week, we've got that marvellous story behind the lost bracelet.
That's right, as an added bonus this week, Mary will be trying not to fall over. All that plus Lucido and D'Artagnan, our roller skating messenger boys once again, who'll keep everything rolling along smoothly. We've had a lot of mail this week about these two, asking where you got the names from. Where did they come from?
Well, actually, we were born with them, but our parents didn't give them to us until we were 10, because they thought it was too outrageous. And so we're stuck with them now.
I beg you, you were born with them? They didn't tell you till you were 10?
No.
What did they call you the first 10 years of your life, then?
The boys.
Did they?
Just have a message outside our door.
And just so that we know, which is, because I don't know, and I think you change it from week to week, which is Lucido and which is D'Artagnan?
Lucido? D'Artagnan.
And you remember that yourselves, won't you, till the end of the programme?
No.
OK, well, let's meet our first guests. They're Shirley Crawford and June Bennett. OK, well, you may or may not be puzzled by the ducks and the geese that have been sitting in the foreground, and these are the two ladies who've brought them as a demonstration of what they're particularly interested in. You are the organisers of the 5th Devon and Cornwall Duck Show, is that right? Duck and Goose Show?
Yes, that's correct.
Well, I mean, does that attract a lot of interest? I mean, I can't imagine it's the sort of thing that people actually would really care whether it's on or not.
No, we get interest from all over the country. Last year the entries were well over 400.
So what for you is the great attraction of ducks?
Oh, I think they're comical. They're lovely.
Comical?
Yes.
Well, go and get... Can you go and get a couple?
Yes.
We've had everything else. We've had babies, we've got singing dogs, we had... Yes, they seem pleased to be involved in this item. That's it. OK, so what happens at this duck show? It's a sort of... What is it, sort of crufts for ducks, really?
That's right. People come along and, well, they bring their ducks to the show. There's all different breeds, you see. I mean, you don't see anything like that on your average village pond.
No, you don't.
And it's a chance for the general public to see all the different breeds as well and hopefully get them interested in waterfowl.
OK, well, now, it's quite complicated what you particularly want from Hotline, because although it's the 5th Devon and Cornwall Duck Show, it's also the 50th birthday this year of a very special duck, isn't it?
That's right, Donald Duck.
Which is why you contacted us, because you want... What exactly is it you want?
Well, we'd like a Donald Duck to come to our show and liven it up and...
A Donald Duck?
Yes.
But what you actually mean is someone who can sound as close to the real thing as possible?
Yes, that's true.
OK, well, first of all, let's have a little look at Donald himself. If you... I'm sure everybody's seen him. Let's just remind ourselves what he looks and sounds like. Doesn't seem very impressed.
He's been watching.
Now, on the phone from Los Angeles, can you bring the phone in? We should. This is one of our more ambitious experiments, but we should have the gentleman who started all this, actually. That's it, careful. Don't drop the phone, whatever you're doing. Landed a hit on the ducks, that's it. Thank you, Lucido, or is it D'Artagnan? Can you take that one, Shirley?
Oh, right, yes.
Now, it's about 7:15 here in Manchester, but it should be 11 o'clock in the morning in Los Angeles. Now, on the other end of the line, I should have the gentleman, you're now 80 years old, Clarence Ducky Nash, who was the very first, well, the only ever Donald Duck voice. Is that right? Are you there, sir?
Well, how do you do, Chris?
Nice to talk to you. Good morning, or should I say happy birthday?
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Chris.
How long have you been doing it now? How long have you been making these Donald Duck noises?
Well, been doing Donald's voice for all the time he's been on the screen, 50 years.
50 years? You still sound...
And I've held that voice since I was 13 years old.
Well, I mean, what came first, the voice or the need for the voice? Presumably, when did you meet up with Walt Disney? How did you get tied up with him?
Pardon?
How did you get tied up with Walt Disney in the first place? How did you meet him?
I'm sorry, I don't hear too well on that.
Sorry.
Give it to me again.
Sorry, you are a very long way, even by our standards. How did you first get tied up with Los Angeles, Clarence? How did you actually meet him?
Oh, meeting Walt Disney.
Yeah.
Yes, well, I tell you, it was a strange thing. I've been in show business for 60 years. And my parents, they wanted me to settle down, get out of entertainment. I couldn't get work unless I could entertain.
OK, have you got a message for all your very large number of fans over here? Because there is a very special duck... Well, they're obviously very keen over there. There's a very special duck show coming up fairly soon. Have you got any message for all your fans, Donald?
Well, surely, I think Donald knows. Here,
Good luck to the duck show. And thanks for honoring me on the duck show. I remember sending you some gifts and presents.
Sorry, no.
Hardware.
okay.
Clarence Ducky, or should I call you Donald? Thanks very much indeed for talking to us. Bye for now. Bye-bye.
Come on.
OK, thanks very much to him. Now, can you take the two ladies over to the booth, please, and we'll see what sort of calls we get. So basically what we want are people who sound as close as possible to him.
That's right.
If you take them over to booth number one, that's right. So there you are. If you want to quack along a Donald and all the other ducks in Devon, that's it, put them back in the box. The number to ring is our own main London number, which is 01811 2211. That's 01811 2211. Now, he was silly enough on the programme last week to open his mouth and say nothing on earth could hold me prisoner. But I don't think that it's not easy to talk with a duck in the background. I don't think that any escapologist has ever before been faced with such a vicious little mixture as Hotline viewers sent him last week. Live on the show this week before 8 o'clock tonight, not only has David De-Val got to try and escape from a locked cell underneath Rochdale Town Hall, but also, thanks to your suggestions, there are a few added complications. Jenny Barnett, where are you, my darling?
I'm standing here. Good evening to you all. I'm standing here in the prison cells of Rochdale City Hall. It's horrible. Till 15 years ago, these were the jails, and Dave De-Val is standing here next to me, and considering the circumstances, he looks remarkably well. How are you feeling?
Well, not quite as confident now, Jenny, I must confess.
But are you going to stand by your thing of last week?
Nothing on earth can hold me a prisoner.
Well, there you see, he's a mad fool. Our jailer for this evening is Mr. Eric Bollington. He's employed with the town hall. He's also a retired police inspector, so he has had hundreds of people in this cell. Have any of them ever escaped when you've been on duty?
Never when I've been on duty.
Have any of them ever escaped ever?
There has been one escape from an adjacent cell, but in the 100 years that this cell was in use, nobody ever escaped from it.
Oh, well, David, you've got a tall order. Well, we wish him well. Now, the biggest problem that I can see getting out of this cell is this enormous door, which has got a big steel plating on the back. It doesn't matter what lock-picking this Dave De-Val can do, you can't get out because of this great steel plate over the lock. So I wish you well, David. Now, all right, good luck, mate, and I'll see you soon. Now, apart from getting out of Eric's cell, David has also got to do your challenges. And this week, yes, we have got handcuffs. Eric, the handcuffs, please. There they are. Yes, and the handcuffs belong to this young gentleman, Martin Barnes, all the way from Cambridge. Now, can you tell us a bit about these handcuffs?
Yes, they were made by an uncle of mine, William Melmore, who was a magician at the time and quite a talented engineer as well.
Now, what did he do? Why did he make them?
He made them specifically to challenge Houdini. At the time, he decided Houdini wasn't quite all he was cracked up to be.
And did Houdini take the challenge?
No, he didn't. He refused.
The coward. Has anybody ever got out of those handcuffs, then?
Not to my knowledge.
Well, let's hope tonight's the night. Thank you very much. Now, as well as handcuffs, we've also got leg irons, believe it or not. Eric, the leg irons. Yes, here they are. And the leg irons belong to this young lady, Mrs. Georgie Clark. What is a nice young girl doing with leg irons like that?
Well, I collect police items from all over the world.
Does your husband know about this?
Oh, yes, he collects with me.
Oh, he collects with you? Oh, that's jolly nice. But how many items have you got?
Oh, over 1,400 now. And we have all sorts of things. Truncheons, uniforms, whistles, swords.
Fantastic. What's the most gruesome?
I think the leg irons.
Yes, I think the leg irons too. Where do you keep them all?
Well, we have a pub in Gosfield in Essex, and we put them all in the copper grill room.
I see. Yes, that will be one pub that I will not be visiting. Now, we've had the handcuffs and we've had the leg irons. We've also got a packing crate. Eric, the packing crate, if we can bring that into view. There it is. Yes, and the packing crate belongs to our local lad here, Mr. Stan... Give me your last name, Bowes. Stan Bowes. Now, Stan Bowes doesn't look like it, but he is a sadist. Can you tell us about this packing case?
Yes, basically my company has over 100 years of experience in making pallets and packing cases.
Yes, and that's all because he wants to give the name and there's
That's
no
right.
plaques. Yes, now what else?
So, having said that, we don't think he can escape. It's finally nailed together using an annular ring nail, which is rather like a fishhook in effect. It can't be pulled out.
You are horrible. He's
Correct.
a horrible man. All right, now, just before Eric actually puts him in the crate, we have one other person, Dr. Philip Rowlands. He's a local GP, and he's here to make sure that, well, if nothing untoward should happen. Now, Doctor, you have looked at this man, have you not, in detail?
Yes, I've given David a thorough physical examination.
And there's nothing... You're satisfied?
I'm satisfied. And I've also checked his tracksuit, and there's no implements concealed on his body whatsoever.
Great, great. All right, now, we have to move on. We have to move on to this. Eric, please, how are you feeling, Dave?
Well, confident.
Confident.
Quietly confident.
Well, we wish you luck. Now, as you can see, he's going in there. He's over 6'3", is our Dave here, and the crate's going on, and he's going to hammer it in, and we're all wishing him well. Eric's got a hammer now and the nails, and all I can say is good luck, and I hand you back. Christopher, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Jen. I love the way he said, with all that wrapped round him and tied to him and getting into the box, that he feels confident. Never mind, it's 22 minutes past 7 at the moment. He's got until exactly 8 o'clock to try and get out of Rochdale prison.
Right, from one rather jokey prison story to another more serious. Our next guest is Fred Atke, who fought with the Royal Army Ordnance Corps in the last war. He was captured in Crete in 1941, and he was a prisoner of the Germans in Stalag 3D, Camp 428, Berlin. Ladies and gentlemen, Fred Atke. Now, Fred, you were captured in Crete. In fact, how long were you in prison?
4 years.
Now, the camp that you talk about, was that mainly British troops?
Yes,
And how many of them were you?
around about 100.
Well, you brought some photographs in, Fred, and this will help us, actually, identify some of these chaps.
Yes.
Now, this first one, when and where was this taken?
This was taken in Berlin 6 months after we were captured and 3 months after we got to Berlin.
Now, at first glance, for me, that looks like ordinary soldiers who are not sort of in too bad a state. But what state were you in?
When we got there, we were in an appalling state. We were covered in lice, starving, and hardly any clothes. And as you can see here, we've got a miscellaneous of all French and Yugoslav
Yes.
clothing.
In fact, if we look here, we can see that this chap's got...
Clogs.
Clogs.
Yes, we used to have clogs and rag round our feet.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Do you know the names of any of these chaps here at all?
Yes, that's Bond, Buckley, it's myself, Thomas, Lynch, Bradley. And that's
Yes,
about
and these
all
were the
I know.
men that you spent those 4 years
That's
with,
right,
basically.
yes.
Now, when you got to that camp, and you said you were in a bad state here, when you got to the camp, what sort of conditions did you face there?
Oh, well, it was a working camp,
Yes.
and we worked on the railway, on maintaining it.
So things got a little bit better, did
Oh,
they?
yes, we got Red Cross parcels eventually, and then we got some clothing through the Red Cross, and
Right.
things got quite good then.
Right, well, this is a picture then, a little happier, I think.
Yeah.
Where was this taken?
This was taken at Biesdorf, near Königs Wusterhausen,
Yes.
on the southeast side of Berlin.
And where is it taken? What position? I mean, this is what's this
outside
here?
of our barracks, and these guys were the fellows that were in one of the rooms of the barracks with me.
So these are the men that you
These-
actually got
Yes,
in...
I was in contact all the time with.
Right. Can we look at some of them again, and perhaps you could name them?
Yes, it was Bond, Patterson, Buckley, Jones, Bob somebody.
Yes.
That's myself, White.
Which is
House.
yourself? Show us yourself. A very thin little fellow there.
Yeah. Whitehead.
Yes.
Lynch, Bradley, Pugh, Chris Nicholson.
Chris Nicholson.
And Thomas.
Now, who was your best friend on there, would you
guy,
say?
Yeah, Chris Nicholson.
How close were you to him?
Well, when you share all your food and your cigarettes and your troubles, it's you get fairly close, I guess.
So he was a man that you often think about.
I do now. I didn't
Yes.
used to so much.
Now, in fact, you said the main work in the camp was on the railways.
That's right.
What was your attitude to working for the Germans?
Well, I think we sort of specialised in working all day and managing to achieve an hour's work by the end of the day.
So you were very awkward prisoners?
Oh, yes, and other small diversions, like one of the fellows would throw his pick on the ground and say no longer work for the Fuhrer, and the railway ganger would come and tell him to work, and he'd refuse, and he'd go and fetch a guard, and he'd say, well, I will warn you 3 times, and if you won't work, I'll shoot you. And he'd say, do you work or you don't work? He'd say, I don't work. He'd say, do you work? Don't work. And then you beat him to the draw.
You pick up your pick when there was a gun on a thing. But you also used to try and sabotage, because you had to walk from the camp, didn't you,
Yes,
to the railway?
yes, well, when we used to go through the sidings, we used to put sand and everything in the oil lockers of the rolling stock, in the wheels.
So although you were incarcerated all that time with these chaps, morale was pretty good, was it?
Oh, it was marvellous, yes.
And you got very close, particularly... Why do you think Chris Nicholson and you made that little friendship? What was it about him?
Well, he was more academic than I was, and he suffered very badly. I remember one time he had over 100 boils on his back, and I used to have to bathe them for him every night, and he got pretty weak, you know.
You know, when you think now, that, I mean, when you were liberated, you would never imagine that 40 years later you would be here thinking about this, would you?
Not at all.
No. So what's your feelings now? It's your 40th anniversary of liberation next April. What would you like to happen?
Well, I think I'd like to get all these guys together with their wives and go back to Berlin, but this time in style.
So let's hope then, Fred, that some of these guys ring you tonight, and in particular your friend Chris Nicholson. Thank you very much. If you would like now to go with D'Artagnan to the phone booth and take those calls. So, if you were in Camp 428, and especially remember Fred Atke, then this is the special number to ring. 061 236 2320. That's 061 236 2320.
There's so much that you could do. We're all waiting here for you to call the hotline.
As you could hear during the course of that interview, there were squeals of laughter from these 2 ladies on the telephone. Who have you got?
We've got a David J. from Ealing.
He was very quick off the mark.
Yeah,
He's only 12. He did once more into the breach.
Once more... Is he still there?
Yes, yes.
Hello, David. Chris Tarrant, good evening. You're 12 years old.
Yeah.
And you want to do Once More Into the Breach in Donald Ducky's.
Yeah.
OK, go on then. Any time you like, Donald.
Stop, because...
I beg your pardon?
Could you say stop about halfway through, OK?
When I get bored. OK, fine, right. Go on then. OK, stop. Thank you very much, David. Smashing. Nice to talk to you on the programme. I'll put you back to these 2 ladies. He could well be the gentleman you're looking for, couldn't he? Meanwhile, it's getting very complicated now. Meanwhile, back under the cells of Rochdale Town Hall. Jenny, what's happening? Has anything happened so far?
Oh, yes, he's nailed in quite firmly here, and not only is Eric nailed in the straps here, but he's also nailed all the way round the top. It's terrifying. Dave, just see if he's still in there. How are you doing in there?
I'm not doing too badly.
Are you feeling confident?
I'm feeling very claustrophobic.
Oh, my God, are you? Oh, well, listen, get out quickly, then. We're going to move out, because we're going to lock the cell door now. I wish you well. We all wish you well. Now, Eric, please. Eric is now about to lock this door. Nobody's ever got out of here. Eric, what do you reckon his chances are?
No chance.
No chance. No chance, Chris. I'm sorry, we're going to stand here and watch. That's it.
That's very reassuring, isn't it? No chance whatsoever. Oh, well, he's got till 8 o'clock. I must admit, he doesn't sound quite as confident as he did. Never mind, let's hasten along. Our next guest is a Mr. Philip Hesketh, and he's the leader of the Hyde First Light Corps of Drums. Thanks very much for coming. So, it's quite a name for even to say, actually. It's the Hyde First Light Corps of Drums.
That's
right. And how long have you been going?
About 10 months.
So how many of you are there in this?
32 at the moment.
And what sort of age?
Between 7 and 21.
So you're quite a young band, really?
Fairly young. The average age is about 13.
Are you surprised that you've got as many youngsters as that interested in joining a band in Hyde?
Yes, it's quite encouraging to...
Mind you, sort of place, I mean, with the greatest respect, there's really not a lot else to do.
Well, that's it. I mean, it keeps the kids off the street and they really enjoy it. They go to town on it.
Well, now, what about this drum? I see you've come in looking very distinguished in your uniform.
Right.
What about this drum?
That is the first instrument that we purchased 10 months ago. And from a small beginning like this, we've managed to acquire a few more instruments.
Yeah, but you say a few. In fact, it really is only a few, isn't it?
Right. This is our main problem.
So you've got 30-odd people in the band. How many instruments have you got?
Probably about 18. So
18
players, yes.
So, I mean, only half of you have got anything to play.
Well, that's it.
And when you all meet and drill and things, what do the rest of them do?
Well, they join in the marching displays.
Do they? And sort of pretend?
That's right.
So really and truly, what you're looking for is, I mean, free, obviously, ideally, more instruments.
That's right.
OK, we've talked about the sort of band that they are. There's a list, actually, of the various things that you're looking for coming up now. There we are. We need a mace, 2 side drums, sets of cymbals, marching bells, bass drum, 9 bugles, 1 bus. Oh. Yes, well, that'll be a sort of musical addition, won't it? The bus, that should sound very nice. Well, we talked about them. We talked about the sort of drill sessions that they have. Let's see them in action, with or without their instruments. Here they are, the Hyde First Light Corps of Drums. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. If that's the... Go on, give them a big hand. What's the matter with you? Because I couldn't help noticing... What's your name, my love? Wendy. Wendy, and you're the leader. I couldn't help noticing that you were twirling what's basically... The technical term, I think, is a broomstick handle. Isn't it? And this gentleman behind... Where's he gone, the drummer who didn't have a drum? Where's he gone? Oh, it was you, wasn't it? Stand. What's your name?
Paul.
And how old are you, Paul? I see you
19.
You're 19?
Yes.
Right, and don't you feel a bit silly at 19?
Yes.
Drumming an invisible drum? Because you were working very well, but there wasn't actually any sound. I must say, considering they've only got half their instruments, it was ever so noisy in here. Let's have a little look at the bugle section. Oh, and you haven't got a uniform, have you? Why is that? Are you a recent addition?
Only just joined.
You've only just joined, so you haven't had time to get a uniform yet? Or any instruments or anything? This little girl over here, where was she? What's your name, my love?
Susan.
Susan, you were dreading me coming to you, weren't you? Because I couldn't help noticing that although you're very quiet, you were very busy on the bugle, weren't you? You were... Can I have a little look again, so in case anybody missed you and all that crowd? Or what you were doing? Go on, then. That was it, was it? OK, right. Lakita, could you bring Philip over to the booth? Can you come and help us, my darling? You'll be good on the phone. You haven't got an instrument. You can probably deal with the telephone, can't you? Right, come and sit yourself down, my love. There you are. Thanks very much indeed. So if you've got any bugles or drums or a medium-sized twiddling stick, the number to ring is 061 236 667. That's a Manchester number, so obviously you don't need to ring that if you're inside Manchester. 061 236 667.
Well, all those duck calls are all coming through. The phones have been going like mad, and you girls are on already. Can I chip in? Who have we got here?
Percy Edwards.
Percy Edwards? I don't believe it. Percy Edwards?
Yes.
The Percy Edwards?
I'm afraid so.
Oh, well, you've got to give a performance, haven't you?
What would you like?
Well, can you do different kinds of ducks? Because I noticed tonight that we had ducks with sort of head feathers and all that kind of thing. Can you do...
Well, here's the farm duck. And here's the mallard, the one from which the farm duck came.
Right. Oh, well done, that's different. Any more?
You can have a chicken, the one that's just laid an egg.
Very good. Oh, a round of applause. I think that's wonderful. Hello? I tell you what, Percy. Would you like to play Donald Duck?
Would I like to play it?
Yes.
In what way?
Well, I mean, like get into a skin and waddle.
Sorry?
Get into a skin and waddle.
I can put the vocals, that's all.
Right. Listen, Percy, I'm going to leave you talking to the girls now because it looks like there's an urgent message. OK?
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Yes, well, in fact, I'm going to move now to booth 2 because there is a phone... You've got somebody on the line, Fred, is that right?
Almost.
Almost? Right. Hello? Apparently there's a call here for Fred Atke. Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, greetings, Fred from Rochdale. Now speaking from Yorkshire, we're formerly a fellow resident with you at Camp 401, Neukölln, Berlin. Do you remember Freddie?
Yes, I do.
Fred?
How are you?
Oh, it's a long time, but funny enough, I'm quite a votary of casting my mind back at former colleagues.
Yeah.
In fact, I believe that we first met, Fred, on that interminable rail journey from Salonika to
That's right.
Berlin via Belgrade,
To Luckenwald.
etc.
Yes.
Listen, Reg, was there anything you remember on that journey?
Oh, yes. It was a momentous journey from all... Strictly speaking, we were all being carried in that one coach, you know, the variety, 4 horses, 80 men.
Listen, Reg, thanks very much for ringing in. Are you interested in this reunion for this anniversary?
Oh, yes. In fact, you know, for Fred's information, I visited the Camp 401 in the early 70s, you know, just to go back on a sentimental journey. And, Freddie, it hasn't changed very much. It's now a warehouse.
Yes.
But
Listen.
all the, you know, the infamous aspects still
Reg.
remain there. That terrible ramp where we used to have to load
Listen.
railway wagons.
Reg, listen, you've obviously got a lot to say. I mean, Reg, I'm going to have to put the phone down now, but I'll leave you talking to Fred, OK?
Yes, of course.
Bye. OK.
Yes.
Right, well, that's obviously going to go on for a long time. It's going to take another 40 years. Now, our next guests are 18-year-old Sandra Glover from St Helens in Merseyside and 8-year-old Lady, and we don't know where she came from. Ladies and gentlemen, Sandra and Lady. Hello. Oh, isn't she beautiful, Sandra? And Dad's coming to hold her in case she gets a little bit frisky. Now, Sandra, what's all this about you don't know where she came from? What is it that you don't know, and what is it you want to find out?
Well, we don't know who owned her before we did, and we don't know who bred her and who her parents are, and we'd like to find out.
Right, well, where did you get Lady from?
We bought her from Beeston Cattle Market, and...
It was a bit of an accident, wasn't it? You didn't really mean to go and buy a horse,
We went
did
to
you?
buy a bridle and we saw Lady and we bought her there.
Well, what did you know about her when you bought her? What did they tell you, the dealer?
Well, I know she comes from the Knutsford area and she was 5 when we bought her. She's 8 now. And that's more or less all we know about her.
Well, why weren't the papers? Why didn't you get papers with Lady?
Well, at the time we weren't interested in it and we didn't think to ask for the papers, but now we'd like them.
Why, though, Sandra? I mean, look, looking at Lady now, you've taken her into local shows and she's got a rosette on her head and she's won there. Why now do you want to make it more official and more important?
Well, I'd like to enter her for registered Arab classes, and I can't do that without papers. And also, I'd like eventually to breed off her and get a foal that I can register.
So we're talking about quite a serious career with her, really?
Maybe.
Yes.
Maybe, yes.
All right. Well, if anybody at home, then... have you tried to find these papers, by the way? Have you done something about it yourself?
Well, we've asked, but apparently the person who was selling her moved house and we lost track and we can't get any further ourselves. We're stuck.
Right. Well, I tell you what, then, just to give all those horsey people we've been talking about a closer look at Ladies, why don't you tell us about her distinctive marking? I mean, the type of horse, first of all, that she is.
She's an 8-year-old Palomino Arab mare.
And what are her features, starting with her head?
She's got a white blaze on her head, running down into her nose. She's got a dish face and the curved ears of the Arab.
Onto her legs now.
She's got 2 white socks at the front, going up to her fetlocks. And at the back, she's got another 2 socks going up to almost her hocks.
Well, thank you very much, Sandra. Well, she really is truly a very beautiful horse. So if you recognise Lady or can shed any light on whether she's registered or not, or if you know anything about her at all, the number to ring is 061 236 0760. That's 061 236 0760. Let's go and take those calls.
It's going to give us a busy. Prisoner of war conversation seems to be entirely about pubs so far. It said, do you remember the Prince of Wales? It was over the road from the Three Feathers. I don't quite know what they're talking about. Meanwhile, back at the band front, what's happening so far? Yes, sorry, excuse me, what's happening?
Well, we've had an instrument supplier on who's offered to give us 2 new B-flat bugles. Brand new.
2 B-flat bugles?
Did I say the name?
No, I think we've got another call as well, actually. I'm just getting a message from over here. I think we've got another call as well. Can we take the other call as well from the other side? I think we have got a second call. Can we patch that one through as well?
Hello?
If you ask that gentleman to hold on, we should get a second call as well.
Could you just hang on a sec, please? Right.
In an ideal world, there should be... This is straining our technology to the absolute maximum.
Hello there. Hi.
Shall I take that one?
Oh, yes, yes.
Performing without a lot of instruments.
Yes.
I'm in the musical instrument business, and I think perhaps we might be able to help you maybe with some of your brass, you know.
Yes.
Possibly a bugle.
Yes.
Trumpets are no use to you.
No.
Obviously not using valve instruments.
Not at the moment, no.
Sorry, it's Chris Tarrant on the other side of the line. Good evening. Thank you very much for your help, sir. You were very quick off the mark. You say you got some trumpets, but you don't want trumpets, do you?
Well, bugles initially.
Yeah? I should have thought you want everything you can get, wouldn't you? OK, well, I'll leave you to sort out what exactly you do want and you don't want. Meanwhile, back at Rochdale Town Hall, it's about 22 minutes, it's about 18 minutes to 8 now. What's happening, Jen? Any developments?
Yes, well, meanwhile, back here, we've heard lots of noises coming out of number 4 cell, so we're going to find out what's happening. Dave, have you come out the box?
Can you hear me, Jenny?
Yeah?
I've gone out of the box, but I can't get out of the cuffs at the moment.
But what about the leg irons?
I'm out of 1 leg iron.
Oh, well, good luck. Keep going. We'll come back to you in a minute. We'll come back to you. You did get out of the box, so no. Chris, we're back to you.
It's beginning to look as if that bloke was right, isn't it? I told you he'd not get out of there. Oh, well. Meanwhile, back on the Donald Duck phone... Oh, there's another one. Hang on. You've been scribbling like mad. How many have you had? You've had loads.
Yeah, stacks.
Amazing how many people can sound like Donald Duck when they want to.
Jeff Scott.
Right.
I thought he was a weatherman. This is his day job.
How old are you, Jeff? How old? 14. Oh, don't shout.
Actually, we've got loads, of course.
How old?
30.
30? Oh, right, carry on.
Sorry, it's Chris Tarrant on the other line. Good evening. How do you do? It's not easy talking to a duck sounder-like. And you're 30 years old, are you, Donald?
What?
I'm not sure what that's got to do with anything, actually. How old these blokes are? Why are you
We could do with a 50-year-old.
A 50-year-old?
Yes,
you particularly want a 50-year-old? Do you? OK, fine. Can you stay there on that line? Because on at least one of the other lines, we should have another Donald Duck sounder-like. Who have we got on the other one? Hello?
Hello?
This isn't the gentleman I just spoke to who was 30, so this is another one. Who are you, sir?
Tom Dancourt.
And how old are you?
15.
15. That seems to be quite a young cross-section of Donald Ducks. OK, then what are you going to do for us?
Little Miss Muffet.
Little Miss Muffet. By Donald Duck, though?
Yeah.
Fine, OK, just testing. Right, go on, then. Very nice. OK, thank you very much. We'll leave it there. Don't lose him. Try and fix up his name and address. You might well need him. Meanwhile, over the other side of the studio, coming in, we've actually got people from Manchester who've come down because they sound like Donald Duck. Bring them in. Look at these. Right. I'm getting a desperate wind-up because we've got a lot of calls to do. We're also trying desperately to get back to see how that gentleman makes out in the cells. Who shall I take? Very quickly, then. Quick burst of Donald Duck. Very nice, thank you. Well worth you coming. Right, go on. Fine. One more on the end. Fine. Well, there you are. That's the sort of in-depth item we specialise on Hotline. Meanwhile, if you can move yourselves across so we can see, this line's been even busier. Mary, how are you doing on that one?
It may not be today, but when I get home, if not...
Well, I must say, this phone's been going like mad, so we may have the whole lot, all the
inmates.
inmates.
You look after yourself.
Who's...
Yeah, OK. Bye.
That's a good moment, actually, to ask you how you've got on, in fact, then,
well,
Fred.
I've got 4.
You've got 4 so far?
Yeah, we've got a good job of making it next
Now, what
year.
about Chris Nicholson, have you?
Oh, there's a chap who lives up the road from him. He's ringing him now to get him to ring through in case he didn't see the programme.
Well, that would be marvellous. So you've had 4 calls already?
Yeah.
Right. Well, what you don't know, Fred, is that we have also been beavering on your behalf.
Yeah.
And standing in our wings now, and having watched you and the programme all night, we have Maurice Osborne and Dougie Shield.
Hello. How are you? All right. Okay. And you? God, you look great.
Right, can we get you to stand over here?
Yes.
Right.
Still got that sketch I gave you, Fred.
I see. So,
my painting?
Maurice, you used to do... Can you come over here near the booth? Maurice, you used to do a lot of sketching then, did you?
And painting, yes.
I see. And now, Dougie, you've actually got some photographs you've brought with you, haven't you?
Yes, I have indeed, yes.
Right, well, we've got pictures, we've got copies of those, and the first one, I think, is of a concert party, is that right?
Yes, I remember that one.
Was Fred in? Was Fred in the concert?
No,
I wasn't artistic.
He was one of our supporters.
There
actually.
it is now, that's right. This is a camp concert. Now, what's
yes.
these two?
Yes, well, you remember that one? That's me in the front.
Yeah.
Chris Nicholson at the back.
Right.
Whatever happened to Chris?
Yeah.
The next one was Richie the Australian.
Oh, there he is. There's Chris.
Richie, yes.
There he is.
Richie
A
the
close-up.
Australian.
Yes.
In fact, you were a good friend of Chris, weren't you?
Yes, I was indeed, yes.
Have you been in contact with
No,
him?
never, no, not at all.
All right.
I haven't seen him for ages.
Bob Pillins had a heart attack. Benny Lynch has been in hospital with
okay,
it.
oh, dear.
Oh, blimey.
Let's
good job I made it next year, eh?
Fred, on a more cheerful note, Fred, we have yet another surprise. Because I know you're very disappointed that Chris Nicholson, your great mate, didn't ring in, aren't you?
Yeah.
Well, in our audience tonight, we have sitting throughout the whole show, Mr. Chris Nicholson.
Nice to see you. I thought I would weep a bit, Mary.
Come on. Of course you're going to weep a bit, because, I mean, I'm weeping a bit too, Chris. What would you like to say to Fred? I mean, what's the first thing?
Well, hello, Fred. Hello, Ferdy. Remember Ferdy? Used to be Ferdy, yeah. I've got to ask him about that, trying to teach me to play bridge, Mary.
Did he?
Did you ever... You never succeeded, Fred, did you?
Well, you never paid me the £1 you owed me, Chris.
Is that right, Maurice? It's rubbish.
All right.
Yes, sorry.
Now, just one more thing. I did ask Fred if he actually tried to escape. Now, none of you did that, but you did try and keep in touch. How did you do that?
Say that again. In keep in touch.
In communication. What about that water bottle?
Oh, yes. Do you remember this one, Fred? It wasn't in our room. We had that water bottle with the little...
Oh, with the radio in it, yes.
The two of you...
And I got the crystal from Berlin.
And you got the crystal?
From Woolworths.
That's right.
I gave the guy
That's right.
Well, can I just move you over here, chaps, because I've got one more question I'd like to ask you. Here's 4 of you, some of them ringing on the phone. There were 100 of you in that camp.
Yeah.
What do you think about this anniversary next year? Do you think that would be a good idea to get together? What would you like to happen,
How much
Chris?
will it cost?
Nothing.
What would you like to see happen, really?
Well, obviously, I would love to see it. I would love to see it come about.
Well, let's hope then that you go back into your box then, Fred, because who knows, they might be ringing in too. And if you chaps would like to join him, can you go round the box? Okay.
Where do you want me? Where do you want this?
In here?
Yeah, you can come and listen.
Come in here, do we?
While they were busy chattering there, in fact, the phone was ringing like mad because they were away from it, chatting so much in the front. The phone was ringing like mad then. Meanwhile, back at the the bugles and the drums still flooding in. How are you doing? Can I butt in? Just ask that gentleman or lady to hold on a second.
Could you just hold the line, please?
How have you done? I know you've been very busy.
Superb. We've got offers of a mace. Somebody's donated a pair of cymbals.
So you got a mace. You don't have to muck about with a broomstick anymore.
We're okay.
You got a mace.
Yes.
Are you going to collect it, or are they going to bring it to you?
Well, we're going to make arrangements to get them.
Okay. Lots and lots of bugles.
That's right. Lots of bugles.
Because you weren't really noisy enough when you came in. I felt. Yeah. Right.
We've had an offer of a trumpet, a brand new trumpet from a music shop.
Oh, that's nice. But you said you didn't want a trumpet.
Well, they said they'd give it to us, so
yeah,
we'll take it.
So, I mean, so far, and there's still time yet as well. There's still time for the escapologist to get out of his cells in an ideal world, I don't know.
Right.
So you've had a very good night so far?
Fine, yeah.
OK, fine. Well, in fact, also, outside, we've got some gentlemen again who've arrived from Manchester. Very generous people in Manchester. And he's brought some bugles. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much indeed. What's your name, sir? I'm delighted. You were very, very quick off the mark, I must say. People in Manchester are very good. No, I won't. Well...
What do you do?
How do you do? How to meet you?
That's fantastic.
Would you like to take delivery of these?
Thank you very much.
Smashing. OK, well, I'll leave you two to chat about the various details, and I'm sure you're very, very grateful, aren't you?
That's
OK.
Excellent.
Meanwhile, Mary's very busy on hers. Mary, how are you doing?
Absolutely. Well, this is very exciting because on the end of the line now, we think that we've got somebody who once owned Lady the Pony. Hello. Hello, what's your name?
Hello.
And Julie, do you think you once owned Lady?
Yes, I did. I had her from about 16 months old.
Yes.
And the registered name is Peel Elegant Lady.
Peel Elegant Lady. How extraordinary that Sandra called her Lady. Then that's her real name. Tell me, was she registered when you had her?
Yes, I actually registered her.
She was?
Yes, I registered her.
I see. So, I mean, it must be possible then to put her into Sandra's name.
Oh, yes, definitely. If she rings up, they'll change it over.
Listen, I'm going to have to ask you to hold the line, actually, Julie, because we've got an even, well, not more exciting guy, but another good call, because this time I think we've got the breeder of Lady on the phone. Can we have her put through? Could you hold on, Julie?
Yes.
Yes. Could we have the breeder on the phone? Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Hello, who's that?
Jilly, talk to Mary.
This is Jill Eady.
Hello?
Hello? Hello, this is Mary Parkinson. Now, apparently you bred Lady, is that right?
I believe so. Very light. A foal I bred in 1970.
She was a foal that you bred in Manchester. When was this?
No, not in Manchester, in Australia.
Yes. When was this? When was this, Jill? It's quite a...
In 1976.
Yes, Jill, I'm very sorry. Sadly, it's a bad line, and so we can't. We're going to try and put you through again. All right? So so until we do that, we'll hand to Chris. Chris.
Because we'll try and catch up with that phone before 8 o'clock, though we've got an awful lot to do before 8 o'clock. Meanwhile, he started off very confident. He wasn't as confident when we last saw him. Meanwhile, Jenny Barnett, how's he doing? What's happened? Has anything happened?
Well, yes, it has, and we've heard lots of rattling going on in that room, and squeaks and bumps that things are going in the night and all sorts of things. But the one thing he did tell me that he normally emerges naked just to prove that nothing's come out of anywhere, you know. And he says it is a family show, so he isn't actually going to. God, he's out. I am genuine in those. Well done. Well done. That is fantastic. How are you feeling? How are you feeling, Alex?
I'm very surprised.
Very surprised. Listen, I think that we should just go in there and look at the crate.
Come and look. In fact, Jenny, can you see the crate is completely as you left it? All nails are intact. All the cuffs are open. Can you see? Check every nail. Every nail.
This is absolutely amazing. Is everything
as I left it?
This is absolutely as you left it. Chris, all I can say is that we have got a first here on Hotline, and I don't want anyone else to try it tonight because he is sweating. It's not very funny. But well done, and we'll send you back to the studio.
Thank you very much.
And there you are. Brilliant. I must say, I did have my doubts, but there you are. He said he was 100% successful. And now a successful ending to one of last week's stories. Do you remember the lost bracelet with that inscription?
From JT to BT, as a token of esteem and love, September the 22nd, 1948.
Well, with me is BT, Betty Taylor. Hello, Betty. Hello. And in fact, JT, John Taylor, is in fact working and can't be with us, sadly. Yes. Now, obviously, he would. Obviously, that bracelet meant a lot to you, as Eileen too suspected.
Everything. An awful lot. It was given to me on the day we were married. He gave it to me on the day we were married.
And how long ago was that?
36 years. Last Saturday.
Last Saturday.
As on the bracelet.
So for something that you cared about so much, how on earth did it get lost?
Well, my daughter loved it, my daughter Victoria, and she used to borrow it and took it back to London with her by mistake and lost it.
Now, your daughter Victoria
this was 6 years ago.
This was 6 years ago. And in fact, your daughter Victoria was the one inscription that we didn't show on the programme, if I remember. We have got a copy of that now, in fact.
Yes,
Perhaps we can show it. There we are.
Victoria
there it is,
Ann.
Victoria Ann.
23rd of June,
That's
1952.
Right. So, in fact, it was Victoria Ann who sadly lost your bracelet. And she lives where?
In Botswana at the moment.
Absolutely. Now, how did you find out that it was lost?
Well, I missed it, and I asked my other daughter if she knew anything about it, and she had to tell me. But I never told Victoria because I knew it would hurt her and she'd be very unhappy.
I see. And so poor Victoria daren't tell you that it was
she
lost.
was worried.
Of course she was.
Yeah.
Well, I think now we must have that marvellous moment when, in fact, we return the bracelet to you. And Eileen Tooth has kindly come in with you. Hello, Eileen.
Thank you so much. Please. And I'm delighted to be able to give it back to you after all these years.
Oh, thank you.
It must have great sentimental value.
You've looked after it so beautifully.
Thank you very much, Eileen.
Oh,
you're both pleased.
I'll see you
But-
afterwards. Yes. Oh,
We
thank you
haven't
so much.
we haven't actually finished yet. Because, of course, poor Victoria, the subject between you and her was taboo,
Yes,
right? Well, you're going
I just didn't tell.
You're going to be the person who's going to give her the good news that the bracelet is found.
Oh,
so can we have her? Because on the end of this telephone, Betty,
how marvellous.
we have Victoria in Botswana, who I hope is going to say hello.
marvellous.
Hello, Victoria. Hello, Victoria?
Hello, yes, I'm here.
You're here. Victoria, I'll leave you to your mother, Betty Watkins.
Thank you very much.
Hello, darling.
Taylor, sorry.
Hello, Mummy.
Hello, darling. Isn't this wonderful?
I'm so happy that you have it back.
Oh, it's wonderful. I never thought I'd see it again.
I was so upset about losing it.
Never mind, darling. How's everything?
Sorry?
How's everything?
Everything's fine.
Are the children all right?
They're very well.
Lovely.
Listen, Victoria. Sorry,
Mrs. Tu-
Victoria.
Hello?
Hello, Victoria. Listen, this bracelet you lost, did you really not want to tell your mother?
Oh, no, it wasn't that.
Pardon?
I was so upset about losing it and knew that Mummy would be equally as upset.
Yes.
She would have told me one day.
I'm sure she would. How do you feel now about the bracelet being returned?
I'm very, very grateful.
And Victoria, are you going to borrow it again?
I'll leave it to you in my will, darling.
Well, I'll leave you chatting. I'll leave you chatting, actually, Betty Taylor. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Well, I think that's probably the best way to end the programme tonight. And I'd just like to say thank you to all the guests that came in the programme, and especially to you at home joining in, because that's the important bit. Good night.
That's right, it really has been an incredibly successful night, hasn't it? Quite fantastic. I still do not actually quite understand the escapologist. I'm not quite sure. Never mind. It's been a fantastic night here in Manchester. From all of us on Hotline, good night. We'll see you next week in Glasgow. We leave you with or without their musical instruments with the Hyde First Light Corps of Drums. Good night.